Hiya. Okay, this is going to be a quick review of the Acer C20 Pico Projector. This is the box anyway, which comes in. I'm not going to do an unboxing because frankly I find them completely boring and pointless. Suffice to say, it comes obviously with a case. Actually quite a nice leather case that you would normally find yourself paying 20 quid for wherever it was an iPhone. And a couple of cables. Comes with a power charger, just a 5-volt one that fits in at the rear. Case is quite tight on these actually, so you do have to be a bit careful. Size wise, I'd say it's bigger than a mobile phone, it's bigger than an iPhone, certainly a bit thicker. I'd say it's about 16 or 17 millimeters thick, about 6 inches long, and about 2.5 or 2 inches wide. About 160 grams in weight. It's certainly pocketable, like in comparison to, let's say, my mobile phone, which is a Samsung H1. They're quite comparable size-wise. Samsung's a little bit thinner, but aside from that, close enough. Now, I'm going to do this review in two parts because to set up, let's say, a dark room and that to do the actual projector, show the settings and that, it's better if I do it in a dark room. So I'm just going to do the UI and essentially just a look over the player in this first video. Physically, you've got a small half-watt speaker at the side. There's an audio out, so it's your headphone jack. You can see there's an AV in socket here, and it's a 2.5 millimeter in. So it is a small size. You will find the included cables probably won't hook you up to most things. That was the big downside I found. Also, they have see I/O ports here. That's where your micro USB goes in. And then you've also got a micro SD slot here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little card in there. It's a 16 gig card. I'll talk more about the actual inbuilt media functions on it in a moment. Obviously, there's the lens, very very small, not much to kind of behold. At the side, focus ring, and also the universal I/O. This is essentially a connector, and it goes back, and there's a VGA kind of socket on the end of it, let's say for connecting computer monitors and that. To be honest, in this day and age, it's not something that most of us are going to use. It might be useful for hooking to an iPad or something like that, but for most smaller media players or even DVD players, something like that, it's not going to do it. The main really port you'll be interested in is the mini HDMI, which is just here. And okay, build quality wise on that, it's nice. It's nothing spectacular. It's kind of it's pure plastic construction. It's quite heavy actually for its size and feels robust. You can see there is a tripod port just there at the bottom. So if you had a little like Gorilla Pod or something like that, it could be very useful for setting it up on a nightstand or something like that. You can see on the front you've got your switches. And this here is a battery indicator, so when you plug it in to power on, the power DC in is just there. It's a 5-volt DC in. I'd say it takes about 2.5 hours to charge. On low lamp mode it will give you 2 hours, and on high lamp mode, which is the one we'll all use, it gives you about an hour. You can leave it plugged in while you're playing. The power switch is just here. And the nice touch is when you power it on, it illuminates, which is kind of cool because you'll be using it in the dark, so it's a good idea. This one here is input select, so this cycles through the various inputs. So when you hit that button, it goes through and searches for inputs. Then you've got your kind of left, right, up and down rockers. This one here is menu, and this is just a battery indicator. It lights up when when the unit's on charge. There is also your battery level is shown usually in the inbuilt UI when you're using it. I have to say it's a pretty nice little construction. It's exceptionally similar to the Optoma PK201 in the fact that the specs and that are almost exactly identical. I wouldn't be surprised if this is Acer's kind of cloning, or how do you say, merchandising of it. They seem to be, even down to the firmware, they seem to be remarkably similar. The unit itself is nice. They have specification wise on them, they do WVGA, so it has 854 by 480 resolution, which is a true kind of 16:9, which is nice. Principal reason why I bought it. Has a contrast ratio advertised at 2000:1. We'll get into that a bit later. And the lumen output is supposed to be 20 ANSI lumens, so which is kind of low, but in a dark light environment it works quite well. So that's just a quick kind of overview of physically of this unit. So I suppose we'll go to part 2 now and power it up.